Greetings and salutations. We are back again with some more Diablo 2 One Talent Challenge Hardcore. We're picking up right where we left off, quite literally. Because I'm this close to killing Isuel, and I'm not going to turn around and stop now. Maybe when I get the next waypoint, I'll stop, but we'll see. And in this episode, aside from killing Isuel and trying to get the city waypoint, I want to talk about my sign-off. You know how I normally sign off by telling everybody to have a wonderful day, or have a wonderful evening, a fantastic tomorrow, that kind of thing? Or a fantastic evening and a wonderful tomorrow? Well, what if I told you... Here we go with the philosophical jaunts again. I always do that during Diablo. What if I told you that every day is the best day? You wouldn't believe me. You're like, how was every day the best day? Like for me, November 15th, 2 years ago. How was that day the best day? Well, it's not. It was a pretty crummy day. It was the day my dog Scribbles died. But it was still the best day that I could have had that day. And I'll elaborate. So, when we wake up and we start going throughout our day, we are beset a whole host of options throughout our day. And they could be anything from, what to eat for breakfast, what to wear throughout the day. Doesn't really matter. It could be anything. Any number of options. And the options we pick, well, not the options we pick, but the options before us, we as people will always choose in our own best interest. That's a human nature thing. Humans do that subconsciously. They choose in their own best interest all the time. Knowing this, if we're selecting all of our best interests at heart, how could every day not be the best day? The options might suck. Okay? So realistically speaking, let's say the options before, the options given to us that day are awful. Just the worst options ever. We're still going to choose the best of the worst. Therefore, making that day the best day that we could possibly have. Does it mean it's like, the best day in our life 100% of the time? No, not at all. It just means that it's the best day given the options we had set before us. That's it. That's simply it. Ow. So, knowing that our options are directly linked to, or how our days, not really our day's quality, but knowing that our options are directly linked to how good or bad the day is, even though every day is the best day, we still have some wiggle room, so to speak, right? Could the day have been better? Yeah, I mean, the options could have been better. The options you were presented could have been better. But the day could not possibly be any better because you did what was in your own best interest. You did the best possible thing you could have. It's plain and simple. It's just like with November 15th with my dog. I did the best possible thing I could have at the time. I didn't have other options. I did what I could. He was not well, and he was getting worse. Even though he was on medication, he was getting worse. So I had to make the decision. Is it a good decision? No, it was a terrible decision. But is it the best out of the decisions I had available at the time? Yeah. Didn't want him to suffer. So it was the best possible day I could have had. It's by no means a happy day, and the next day was not good either. The next day, my phone completely conked out on me. 100%. Just my phone absolutely bricked the very next day. Oh, nope, 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 nope. Painful, ouchy lightning damage. Not fun. Really, an amethyst this late in the game? Can I get something different, please? Hey, there's usual. Snarling away at everybody. But no, it's... Every day is literally the best day. Sometimes the options we have are better. Sometimes the options we have are worse. We make do with what we have. But we are given the best day every day. There's no changing that. There just isn't. Now, it's... There are times that... There are times that we wished things could be different. And that's a very normal thing for people. To want things to be different. To wish for a different outcome. But let's put it to you this way. Let's say all the outcomes before us have already been pre-chosen. Right? And I'm not saying our decisions are pre-made. I'm saying the outcomes are pre-chosen. Which means, let's say you choose option A. The outcome is already pre-written in life. The moment you choose option A, there's no going back. Right? You can't go back and choose option B. And so on. See what I mean? So, knowing this, we make do with the thoughts that we have made the best possible choices in our lives. Now, with knowing that every day is the best day, you can't quantify it as like, yes, every day is the best day. Some days are better than others. Okay, yeah. Some days are better than others. But let's say this. Today's October, 20th? Today is October 20th. And October 20th, 2024. There will not be another October 20th, 2024 in my lifetime. So it is the best October 24th, or October 20th, 2024 in my life, as it is the only one. Make sense? With me so far? Because time may be a cycle. Everything that lives must eventually pass, and everything that is gone must eventually come back around. Holy crap, that was a lot of damage I did not want. That was just poison. All that lives must eventually die. All that has died will eventually be reborn. And people say, wait a minute, now you're getting off into reincarnation. Not quite. Not quite yet, anyway.
Good evening.
I have a belief in reincarnation, sure, yeah. But that's not where this is going. Think about it this way. Let's say we pass away. Turn to dust. As, what's his name? He's a British fellow. He does videos. They're very calming videos because he's got a very calm voice. John Butler. That's his name, John Butler. We pass away, we turn to dust. Right? We physically are no longer here. As we pass, we become a spirit. Wherever we go, from there we go. However, when we pass, other things also occur. The cycle begins anew. Some of us, our bodies will decay, and in that decay, certain species of bug, an insect, and other things use it for laying eggs and starting a life cycle anew. Where one ends, so begins another. And if we are unfortunate enough to have our body be in a place where it has access to, certain parasites and bacterium and everything, life cycle starts anew there as well. Other animals, if we have the unfortunate event of being left out where other animals could technically feed upon us, they will use us for sustenance, thus turning us into animal feed, assisting that life cycle. So all things have a balance to a degree. I mean, all things are in balance, but, like I was saying with cycles, as one thing passes, so must another reborn. Now, let's say we are going to go down the pathway of reincarnation. Okay? Let us say reincarnation is truly real. If it's truly real, then we don't have to worry about much of things because the soul will be reborn and it will come back and it will live again and it will venture onto the planet and do what it does all over again. Now, I have an anecdotal story about that too, which is weird because I seem to have a lot of anecdotal stories, huh? So, this anecdotal story is about when I went for past life regression hypnotherapy. And I know, that sounds weird, right? Well, there was a reason for it. I had this fear of driving. And when I say a fear of driving, I'm not talking like, oh no, I'm on the road and I might get hit by a car. Ooh, spooky. No. This was literally a white knuckle fear as soon as I got behind the wheel. We're talking, I went to go back the car out of the driveway just to move it from the left-hand side of the driveway to the right-hand side of the driveway. I got behind the wheel and I started hyperventilating and got white-knuckled. That's how bad it was. Well, let me carry on. I wanted to know why this was. And And I went to a hypnotherapist. The hypnotherapist was like, I'm all about the healing process. All hypnosis is self-hypnosis. It's you basically going into a mindset where when we ask you questions, your mind will be able to access pictures or scenes or people. And all you do is tell me what you see. That's it. Okay. And so we sat down and we set out to do this. And as we set out to do it, he had a few things he wanted me to do first. First was to create a little sanctuary in my headspace. Some place where I felt comfortable and at peace. And he said, and I want you to remember it. He's like, and I want you to remember it because if things get out of hand, which sometimes they can, sometimes you envision something that is not really traumatic, but horrifying. And in seeing that horrifying event, you are causing more harm than good. So I envisioned what he wanted me to envision, which was something of my own creation. He didn't tell me what to envision. He just said, you get to build it in your head. What's it look like? And he wanted me to tell him what it looked like. So I did. But we go to the past life regression hypnotherapy. I remembered back to 1936. I could see the cars. I could see everything as it was in 36. And I sat right there and I'm like telling him everything I see. Because he's asking me, what do you see? You know, what's there? What are you waiting for? What's this? What's that? Because they want to know, right? They want to know what's going on. So I go down through it all, and I come to find out that I'm a former mafioso that works for I'm a former mafioso, but I was a German dock worker. And I was given all of the like low-level extortion jobs. Nothing big, just kind of the whole, hey, Joey, go get go pick up the payment, drop off those papers, let them know that we're going to give them protection, but they got to pay up. That kind of thing. Low-level extortion. And I couldn't see my own eyes. I couldn't see, when I looked at myself from a third-person perspective, my former self did not have eyes. And so I went down through and I was explaining everything out. And come to find out, I had hit a vehicle head-on way back in the day, which was reminiscent of night terrors I had had when I was a child. Very reminiscent of night terrors I had had when I was a child. So I tell the whole story to him. But that's not what solidified past life regression hypnotherapy in my mind. That's not what solidified the past life being a thing in my mind. It was the next one that really solidified that this is real. I regressed again to I was in a carriage, a horse-drawn carriage. I had water out the left-hand window, and I was coming up the coastline from the south to the north. And as I was coming from the south to the north, I kept seeing this countryside, and he said, fast forward till you get to your location. So I fast forwarded till I got to my location. And when I got there, it was in front of a castle. White walls, black pagoda rooftops. And I'm like, I think I'm in Japan. And he goes, where are you? I said, I don't know. I can't read the sign. And so he's like, ask somebody. So I did. And they had said to me, you're in Nagoya. And I'm like, okay, I'm in Nagoya. And I thought to myself, okay, I'm in Nagoya. I've never really known that Nagoya had a castle. Because I never researched it. Never looked into it. Come to find out, Nagoya has a castle. And the castle I was describing was as it stood in 1630, before the earthquake. There was an artist's rendition, a pencil drawing, of Nagoya Castle as it stood in 1630. I took one look at that castle, and I'm like, I had a chill come over me, and I'm like, okay, that's very real. A, I didn't know Nagoya had a castle, number one. Number two, how would I know what it looked like having never been there, having never seen it? Furthermore, how would I have known what it looked like in 1630? And it solidified there and then in my mind that reincarnation is indeed real. Because I had something I could verify by just looking it up and looking at the castle. And then when I saw it, I knew. I was like, that's the one. That's the one that I described. And let me tell you, it was eye-opening for me. But I could never get straight answers out of people about who I was. It's like they were preventing me from knowing the previous self. And it was really, really weird. It's like they were going to great lengths to make sure that I didn't figure out my former life. But this does not dissuade me. Because I do want to go to Japan. And I will be spending a couple days in Nagoya. Because I want to go see that castle. Something tells me I'm going to know when I get there. But that's quite a ways off yet. Now, if we're talking reincarnation and we get reborn, some of us might have been in a different life. And you'll have what's called... We might have been different in a different life. Some of us are like women in a different life. Like, we pass away as a woman, we come back as a man. It's possible. However, there is also... hold on. Oh yeah, he got crushed. Yeah, that's the lucky hit aura right there. Or blessed aim. But you'll have what is called kindred spirits. You'll run into somebody and you'll think to yourself, I've known that person my entire life, yet you've never known them. You've never met them. But yet you feel like you've known them your entire life. Those are kindred spirits. Those are people that have once been on this earth, and you have been with them on this earth, and you shared a somewhat close tie to that person on earth. So you are very, very close to that individual as a kindred spirit in that regard, right? It's nothing like soulmates. I've never been fond of the term soulmates. Never have, never will. As I do not believe in soulmates. Period. I know. How can somebody believe in reincarnation but not believe in soulmates? It's antithetical to everything that we all hear. Everybody's like, oh well, if you believe in soulmates, you must believe in, or if you believe in reincarnation, you must believe in soulmates. Nope. And it's just and people are taken aback by it, and they're like, really? Yeah, really. And when the people are taken aback by it, I kind of want to pull the Nicolas Cage and be like, you don't say. Just kind of give him that face. Just to have him be like, you didn't have to be mean about it. And it's like, I mean, clearly I did, because you guys aren't getting it. Really, I still don't have the dexterity for that. Let's see, this give me 10. 9 to all attributes. That's why. Lumrune. Ooh. Interesting. Can't use any of those skills till I get to hell difficulty anyway. But no, it's there's a fine line between them, right? Soulmates and reincarnation. You can reincarnate and have kindred spirits and people you've known from a previous existence still exist in this existence. It is possible. I've met a couple people like that I could have sworn I knew them before I knew them. One of them was my classmate. And we always got along famously, but we never knew why. And she's married with a kid now, but yeah, we got along famously. Like her and I were like two peas in a pod. I'd sit there and I'd start talking to her, make a joke or whatever, and she's right along with me, yucking it up and having a grand old time. And she smiles every time she sees me. Her husband hates it. Oh boy, does her husband hate it. You should see it. It's actually funny. He stares daggers at me every time. For example, she had a brother that predeceased her, okay? And when this brother predeceased her, she was, like, very somber. Because she was very close to her brothers. She's close to both of them, but one of them is still with the living. And she was very somber, very sullen, rightfully so. And morose, even. I would go so far as to say morose. But she's sitting there struggling to have any form of, like, positive mindset. I mean, she's really down in the dumps, right? Till she sees me. She saw me coming. Her disposition turned around 180. She had a huge smile on her face. She was so happy to see me and wanted to catch up about, stuff that we had missed, lost time and everything. And I'm like, maybe in another time, because now is not the best time, given the circumstances. And, boy, was her husband staring daggers at me. I mean, he immediately was like, eyes locked onto me, staring me up and down like, what does this guy have that I don't have? I don't know. I mean, I've always thought I had the charisma of a boot, but apparently some people see something in me that I don't. Which is usually the case, by the way. It's how it is in most cases. Is you never see what's in you, the qualities in yourself. You only see the qualities in others. And much in the same way that others see the qualities in you, so on and so forth. It's a weird I guess I can't even call it a dichotomy. It's this weird. Not a sapphire, you dolt. Put it back. It's this weird juxtaposition, if nothing else. We live life seeing other people in a different lens than we see ourselves. We will never see ourselves in such a way that we are. I'm gonna keep that charm. We never view ourselves in such a way that we could take a look at ourselves and say, "Ah, yes, I'm charismatic." Ha ha. Or I'm athletic. Look at me go. I'm an intellectual. Never does it come across that way. We always look at ourselves not so much with a negative lens, but with a critical eye. As odd as that sounds, we really do look at ourselves with a very critical eye. And we all do this. Like, this is no exception. Every single human does this. And we look at each other with a different eye. We look at each other and can see each other for what they really are. Well, some of us can. Others cannot. And it's... Ow. What a dick. So... It's always interesting to see that because most people think that if you think negatively or not highly about yourself, they like to sit there and say, well, you know, they're negative or pessimistic. No. That's not the case. It's you look at yourself with a critical eye. You can love yourself and still look at yourself with a critical eye. Back to the story about this classmate of mine that I knew. Her husband just for some reason thinks I'm like, like Giga Chad McSteel's your girl, right? Which, as you can clearly see, that's not the case. But he always has this idea. Apparently, everybody's got this idea that I'm somehow, the guy they tell you not to worry about. As weird as that sounds, and I know it's a meme, but every single time, without fail, I'll be sitting there and I'll meet a couple of people, right? And they're a happy couple, and yet whenever I'm sitting there talking to everybody, I'm trying to be entertaining to the entire group. And yet, the women are entertained. The men look at me and scowl and stare and give me the stink eye like I'm some sort of threat to their existence. And I'm like, well, that's weird. I mean, I shouldn't be some sort of like existential threat to their relationship because I don't go and try to steal other people's girls. It's not what I do. Because I can't, to be honest with you, I'm one of those people that's like, yes, if I ever actually got into a full-on relationship, I wouldn't know what to do with it. Be like a dog chasing cars. I wouldn't know what to do with it if I caught it. And that's just how it is. It's because I'm completely oblivious to a lot of things. That being said, so many people see me as this massive threat to the relationship, and I'm like, why? I don't get it. Of course, I hear the litany of reasons from, my mom and other people that are just trying to placate and be friendly. They're like, Well, it's because you're charming. I hate to be the bearer of bad news to everyone, but I've seen more charm in a cactus. So I don't get what they're coming from. I really don't. But it's not like I dislike myself though, see? Like everybody say, "Oh, he doesn't like himself because pardon me." They'd say, "Oh, he doesn't like himself because of he's making fun of himself." No. I'm making fun of myself because, well, I can. That's simply it. That, and I'm viewing myself from a critical eye. I don't see what other people see. And if I don't see what other people see, then I can't exactly make a call on it, can I? I have a feeling that Diablo's just going to absolutely eat my mercenary for breakfast. Oh, was it set a circuit? Oh, it's a coronet. Even better. Ah, it's usually got plus the skills. Um, no, I've always been somebody to look at myself and say, I don't see what other people do. And, you know, you get the, like I said, the litany of things from your parents and other friends that aren't being 100% brutally honest. They're like placations, so to speak. And that's the thing about people that are like placating you, right? They're gonna say what they want to say. They don't want they don't want to hurt your feelings, or they're afraid to hurt your feelings. So they'll say something that will be, um, not. I can't really say sugar coated. I mean, it is technically sugar coated, but they're trying to not have it come off that way. They're trying to be kind, but not like saccharine sweet, so to speak. And I guess in that sugar coating of things is where the discrepancies lie. And so they placate people and try to say, "Oh, well, you're fine the way you are." I will never tell people they're fine the way they are. Hello. I tell people be happy with who you are, not what you see. Hello. Key difference, because I want them to look within. I want them to see deep down inside their own self. If that makes sense. Just a second. I have to sneeze. Muted it. Because nobody needs to hear those. They're awful. Thing is I want people to be able to look within and see themselves. I don't want them to take a look at the superficial that exists. Because everybody gets caught up in the superficial, and it's just like, haha, aren't I beautiful? You know? And it's like, yeah, for now, until age catches up and Father Time takes a bat to your face. And you have to fill it in with wall spackle. It happens to everybody. I mean, no one escapes Father Time and Mother Nature. And it's like, don't think you can, because it doesn't happen. And so, you know, It's like eventually time will catch up to you, and that exterior beauty will fade. And when it does, you will have to resort to the interior beauty, which is what everybody should resort to at all times. Because if people looked inward and saw the quality of their own character and the quality of other people's character, you would be astonished by what you could find. You'd find high quality people, like really high quality people. Sorry, the Infector of Souls is a very tense fight. I didn't want to slip up and die. It is the most intense fight because he's extra strong, extra fast, and if you're not prepared, he can just leap right out and be on top of you, and then you're dead. So, I mean, truthfully speaking, once that exterior beauty fades, you have the interior beauty. And people say, well, what's interior beauty? Well, what that is differs from person to person. To some people, interior beauty is quite literally personality. To other people, it's um, being someone who's overly kind, generous. I almost want to say charitable or philanthropic. And that's what it is to some people. Like, you know, each person's got their own definition. And with each definition, of course, the obviously people, it's going to be different for each person, essentially. And when it's different for other people, then, you know, you can't change their definition of inner beauty no more than they can change your definition of inner beauty, and that's the way it is. For me, inner beauty is intellect, but more than just intellect, it's insightful intellect. It's somebody who knows before knowing. You know what I mean? It seems a little odd to hear it called that or to hear it stated that way. But if you look at it from my perspective, it's one of those things that I want the person to understand what I'm saying without really having to say it. Almost an innate click with that person. Like they pick up what I'm putting down even without me saying it. And that's part of the inner beauty. It's that intuition. That's the word I'm looking for. Someone very intuitive. That, to me, is inner beauty. As weird as it sounds, well, he's dead. This is getting interesting. I keep hearing something. Like something that's not in the game. It's something outside of the game. Like in life. It's kind of weird. And these champion Oblivion Knights are giving me a problem. Hold on. I'm gonna get my mercenary back. Also gonna send a message and see if I am hearing what I think I'm hearing.
Hello.
Give me 1 second. There.
What do you need?
There we go. Oh, I know what it is now. It's the curse that those guys keep putting on me. It sounds like someone's calling my name in my left ear, and it's the curse that person was putting on me. Yep, it's definitely the curse to crepify. That's definitely what was doing it.
Saved for me.
And all the wolves are dead. No surprise there. Ow. Ow. Man, you've heard of Steppenwolf? This is Nukenwolf.
Not enough mana.
Hey, we did it. Yo. This is crazy. I did not expect that to be that easy. I mean, yeah, we pinned in Diablo, but I mean, realistically, that was Diablo on Nightmare. Nightmare. That's nuts.
I knew
I knew there was great potential in you, hero. Now I just need you to help me find my dentures.
Hail to you, champion.
I can't seem to remember where I left them. Oh, Grandpa Deckard, it's you again. Back to your silly ways. Whoa.
What do you need?
I mean, we're Act 5. Act 5 Nightmare. This is crazy.
I.
Good day. A
A druid in Haragath? Yeah, man. Is that rare? I was only here last difficulty. Really?
We're here today.
Was was Larzik just flexing on everybody? Was he literally just flexing on everybody? Eh? It's a bit weird. But I thank everybody for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed making it. And like I said, I enjoy the philosophical jaunts that I take. I mean, obviously in points of tension, there were a few here. Oof, came close to death a couple times. But in points of tension, obviously I quiet right down and I focus. Happens a lot in Call of Duty, I've noticed. Nevertheless, I enjoy having these little philosophical discussions. Some of them, like with the last video, some of them kind of go off into a different area. Some of them come back and they start talking about different things. And it's all about having like a stream of consciousness and a train of thought. Sometimes the train derails, but I try to get back on topic as fast as possible. That being the case, I hope you enjoyed it. And hey, like I said earlier in this video, every day's the best day. But I want everyone to have a fantastic day, evening, have a wonderful tomorrow, and as always, have a good one.